I'm Marcia Alvey. I have been a trial lawyer for 31 years. I own my own practice. From the time I was a little kid, I always kind of felt off, and I loved dressing up. I was a paper boy, and I remember there was a series about this woman named Parrish, and she was a trans woman. It just laid out her whole experience, her transition. That's when I figured out what the heck was going on with me. I finally had a name to put to how I felt. Then I just went about my business, because when you figure out you're transgender in Coos Bay in the 1970s, you get on with your life. You know, you just do what you have to do to kind of keep your head down and make sure that no one knows about your secret. So that's what I did. I was a football player, I was a wrestler, and I did all the usual stuff that you do in high school. About 6.5 years ago, the noise in my head, the dysphoria became almost incapacitating. I finally just said, I need to get some help because this is not going away. And I found a wonderful psychologist, and she's skilled in trans issues, and she and I have spent the last 6.5 years getting me to the point where I could be where I am today. I got a 4x6 storage locker that became my closet, and then when I would go see my psychologist, I'd get my outfit, I'd get my makeup, my shoes, my wig, whatever I needed, and I would go to her office an hour before the session, and I would completely transform myself into Marcia. I would spend an hour and 15 minutes with her. I would change back into Marty, and I would take all of my gear back to the storage locker and lock it away. And I did that for 4 years. When I was putting my wig on, and I could look in the mirror and see Marcia and say, there you are, it was just like, whew, thank God, you know? And it was just a tremendous relief to, you know, just kind of get a glimpse of me. I started on hormone replacement therapy, and that was when I knew that probably transition was going to be in my future. I just felt like a real human being for the first time, and things made sense. Finally, I felt whole. When we started, I said, I'm not positive that I can do this. I want to explore it, I want to research it, I want to understand it, but I also want a spot where I can still pull back and not go all the way. My first college roommate died really suddenly, and I just said, Marcia, time to get on with it. So that's when I started coming out to the whole world. One of my great friends introduced me to Basic Rights Oregon, and she sent me an email link that just said, Marcia, you need to think about this. The Catalyst Transgender Leadership Program is a cohort of people who have been selected to learn about trans issues and then to hopefully become the next generation of advocates. I had no expectation that I was going to be accepted, because these were people who were living trans experiences in their day-to-day lives, and I was just kind of a part-timer at that point. I made 20 new friends all over the transgender spectrum. It's been an amazing experience just to see the experiences that they've had, most of which have been remarkably different than my own. Many trans people don't have the ability to transition as smoothly or as comfortably as I did. I hoped through the Catalyst program to develop some skills to hopefully help folks who are closeted, or help folks who are struggling economically or having a hard time getting through life. You know, I've been trans my whole life, but I really had never associated with trans folks. I learned so much, and they have been so supportive. Oh my gosh. When I finally came out, I had 20 people cheering me on, and it was just, their support has been tremendous. I knew that Portland was a pretty special place to live, that I could be out in Portland, that I'd be safe, but I had no idea what it took to get the Oregon Equality Act passed, the struggles and the compromises that had to be made to kind of get us to this point in time. I want to do what I can to help push the ball forward. Without resources, nothing gets done. The Oregon Equality Act got passed because people contributed money, and Basic Rights Oregon was able to have lobbyists and have people down at the legislature to do the work that was necessary. I think part of my role now is to show up and educate people that being transgender is not some sort of mental illness. Members in Catalyst have been disowned by their families. They have experienced economic discrimination for just being who they are. And that's why the job of Basic Rights Oregon is unfinished and is just absolutely as important today as it was when it was founded 22 years ago. I was positive that I was going to take Marcia to the grave with me. I was 1000% sure that this was never going to happen. I'm just in awe of the fact that I am living my life as I am now.